let's play this Michael Knowles clip. I know it's weird. Why am I starting off with Michael Knowles? Because we agree. Michael Knowles and I agree on the concept of cancel culture. I think, right? I think, well, you guys, you decide.
So that was actually an interesting statement. What do you think about that?
I think it's actually a very important point. I don't think that the central feature of cancel culture and PC and political correctness, I don't think it's a battle between free speech and censorship so much as it's a battle between competing sets of standards. So, of course, we all think that there should be accountability. You know, in the 1950s, if you openly espoused communism, you would be canceled in Hollywood or in the federal government, and I think that's perfectly right and just. The question here is, what are people being canceled for? This host of The Bachelor, I, like you, can't say that I've seen every single episode of that show, but what this host got canceled for was saying that maybe we should have grace, understanding, and compassion for things that people did years ago, like going to a party in college. That's all he said. But unfortunately, this guy made every wrong decision here. He, I thought, very
You're canceled if you went to a party
and was gallant and chivalrous. But the minute that he thought he was going to lose his job, he threw her under the bus. He apologized for defending Grace. He thought that he could appease the mob, and that was just never going to happen.
I mean, the story was so ridiculous.
Should we just pause it here and just say, like, I agree with his take on cancel culture. There's always been cancel culture. We just didn't call it. We didn't hear people complain about it when it wasn't the right people getting canceled.
Yeah, we were fine to cancel anybody who attended a communist meeting back in the 50s or 60s, right? Those were the right kinds of people. Those were the deviants.
Indeed.
Then they could, and they would actually be canceled, right? In Hollywood, they couldn't get their jobs anymore. They were completely blacklisted. That's why it was called the blacklist. So, pretty sure that's a little bit more consequential than some off-brand Dr. Seuss books no longer being played.
Yeah. The FBI would follow you around for 40 years, and then you'd get a file like 60 years later, and it would be 3,000 pages of you just like going to McDonald's. That's canceling.
Yeah.
Paul Robeson versus Aunt Jemima, basically.
And to be clear, right, those examples that he's citing are just the most obvious ones that took place at that time. But there was a whole host of different things that could get you canceled. You show up at work and you're gay, you get fired. In fact, that still exists in, half the states in this country. You get fired. And so the idea that cancel culture is something new, it's competing values. And that's all it is that we're always going to have values and mores, and people are not going to support people that they don't appreciate what they're going out and saying. And corporations are always going to have things that they feel like we don't want to be associated with because that might hurt our bottom line. And that changes with what society feels is appropriate or inappropriate.
So they were talking about The Bachelor there? Oh, sorry, Sam. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I guess they were talking about The Bachelor. I don't know anything about it.
Well, I do, but I won't say anything about it.
There was this story. Do you know the underlying
Great
story?
For ratings.
Yes. Yeah. So,
how did you miss this, Sam?
I actually didn't. The Rangers and the Knicks were on last night, so I didn't get to watch the finale, but I got spoiled the other day. Basically,
wait, are they shooting The Bachelor during
they have a quarantine situation at Nemacolin in Pennsylvania, and but everyone's swapping spit. It's disgusting.
Why didn't they do Survivor? Why? All right.
Well, that's next cycle. Next year.
That doesn't make the money that The Bachelor does, which is a ridiculous enterprise that has been filled with lots of racism. So they have the first black lead. He picked
after how many seasons?
I mean, there's been
30,
20 seasons of The Bachelorette, something like that, and then 30 Bachelors. I mean, there have been two.
What channel is The Bachelor on?
ABC.
ABC.
That's why.
The mini Fox.
Right. Well, so
the cultural Fox.
So he ended up picking a white girl who had gone to Southern antebellum parties that were outlawed because they were basically about slavery. And then I think they broke up because she was a racist.
Well,
and
let
so
me give
she
you the
got
update
canceled.
on that. They interviewed him I'm with my mom right now, so of course I'm watching mom shows.
Yeah.
And
Well,
they
I have no
interviewed him this
excuse.
morning on Morning America, so just a little update there. And he's working through his issues. He's very concerned about the breakup. When he learned about this, he thinks she's a good person, but she has some work to do, and he's not going to date for now, and he still has feelings for her, and he's just going to take time to process.
Yes, they picked, of course, a black Republican for their first black lead. So I digress. Thank you, ABC.
On that part, I didn't realize. Is there any more to this, Michael Knowles? Or do we hear the good part, essentially, where he was all in favor of the?
That's pretty much it. Yeah. And Nomiki and Emma filled us in on the rest of it, basically.
I gave that.
We never do this again.
That was valuable context. Me talking about reality TV was, for the first time, valuable context.
I like the idea of Gina Carano basically being the modern Dalton Trumbo or something.
Exactly. But she lands in, and let's be clear, she immediately walked into a huge multi-picture deal with Ben Shapiro's film company. So, I mean, she's not canceled.
I really don't talk too negatively about those, because I want those to get made, because
I know.
No, but it's going to be like The Passion of the Christ. It's going to be mainstreamed, right?
No.
Like,
I don't think Ben has that sort of distribution ability.
No.
I also
Heritage
think
Foundation's going to make it work.
it's going to be like those movies with the Sabrina the Teenage Witch, God is Dead, or what, God's Not Dead. That's what it's going to be like. Did you guys
What's
ever see
that?
the trailers to those?
I didn't see that, but
They
I'll tell
were
you something. If
nuts.
there's a GoFundMe for Shapiro's movie, if he writes the script, I'm in. I will.
No, he just does distribution is the thing. He gets kind of hack writers to do it for him.
Well, he could definitely write something hacky. I don't think that would be a problem at all.
They could just put it on Facebook and it would get more views than like any of the Oscar-nominated documentaries.
Any freelance writers who want everybody to laugh should go undercover to participate in Ben Shapiro's screenwriting endeavors, and then maybe just leave some Easter eggs for the Majority Report audience in the script.